beautiful. It's cold, it's windy, it's wet, but today a video must be made. So I come to you live from my bedroom where the lighting is slightly better to answer some of your wardrobe questions. But first I want to chat about by far my biggest wardrobe mistake. And that is buying too much when I decide to make a wardrobe change. I am the kind of person who is all in on an idea. I get some crazy idea that I could make a living off YouTube. Fine, let's move to the country, quit my job. When I decide on a new wardrobe plan, in the past, I've just gone all in. I've just gone, okay, we're committing to this, and I'm just gonna go ahead and buy a bajillion things that work within that picture. I would say that the preferable approach is that you really take your time buying things slowly when you do decide on a new direction with your style. My opinion is that you should buy less things and make sure they're more versatile so each individual item can work in more than one way. And of course, if you did watch my recent style transformation video, I said this in that video, but you really need to take the time to test everything you buy out. If you are in the middle of your wardrobe planning, you realize that, oh my gosh, I would benefit from these 10 to 20 items, which is, often the case. If you decide on a new direction, you might go all in. Like me, you might think, oh my God, there are like 20 things that I need. But actually, you are much better off taking that list down to the 5 most crucial things that you definitely know will definitely benefit your style and trying them out. Trying them out is the key. So you get these things, you don't just chuck them in your wardrobe. You've got to make sure that they are appropriate for your current context, for the things you currently do, for the situations you find yourself in regularly right now, the right weather. Get 1 or 2 things at a time at most, and you test those things immediately, so that you know that those pieces are right for you or they're not right for you. Now back to my mistake. I have gone all in the past, and I have just gone crazy with a particular style or a particular direction. And let me tell you some of the consequences of doing this. The first is that I have an abundance of black things, shall we say. If I think of every archetypal essential in my wardrobe, I have that in black. And now that I take some time to reflect, I do not need that many black things. Now I'm not saying I'm getting rid of those black things, but what I'm saying is I will not be buying anything black for a solid period of time, let me tell you that. I would have been much better off buying just a few key items in black and mixing and matching them with things I already had in my wardrobe and seeing if I really wanted to commit to that much black. And herein lies the first question from you. Thank you so much for asking me questions under my last few videos. Please, if you have any more questions, do continue asking them. This question is from Leo. I would love to hear you discuss how you can approach colors you feel are not really flattering on you, but you crave them on your body. So I'm not saying necessarily that black looks that terrible on me now that I'm a blonde. There was a time when I stand by the idea that black really didn't work on me. So this isn't about black, but I've definitely had those moments in my life where I've realized that some colors aren't flattering on me, but I've still wanted them, or they've still been useful, or they've been essential in some way. Perhaps you need to wear this color for some reason. Maybe it's part of a uniform. Whatever your reason may be for having this color in your life, even if it is an illogical craving for it, I would recommend 2 things to start with. Like, if you genuinely know this color doesn't do you any justice, you're probably going to have to learn to talk yourself out of buying things that you like if they don't work for you. I've been doing this for years now. It's honestly a big part of how I've been able to keep my wardrobe small. There are so many different things I like. I'm a lifelong fashion lover. There are many genres of things that I genuinely love, many styles, but at some point I just had to learn to say no. There are still some things that I have decluttered many times over in my wardrobe and refused to buy for years that sometimes I still see those things and I'm like, oh, such a good piece. And I'm still tempted to do it, but it does come down to, sorry, my hair is really annoying me today. But it does come down to being able to talk yourself out of things and being able to get yourself to a rational point with this sort of stuff. And for me, it's always about having an inner monologue about this thing. Okay, I see this bias cut skirt, I see a beautiful silk item, you know, and I think to myself, oh, I love that piece. But then I say, okay, what am I going to wear it with? And then I say to myself, okay, what happens the first time I wear this and it's creased instantly? Okay, what happens when in a few months, because of my body shape, it gets stretched out in particular places, etc., etc., and that really helps. But if you are in the category of people who don't want to do this or aren't able to do this for some reason, then definitely what I would do is take those colors away from your face. So if there is a color that you really, really love and you absolutely must have it on you and it genuinely brings you joy, because I understand this, I have had certain colors in my life that have genuinely just brought me joy. Like, looking at them makes me happy. If this is the case, just take it away from your face. Around your face is where the colors should be the most flattering, right? But if you take it away from your face, if you have some sort of a color barrier between that color and your face also, that's a great way of doing things. So for example, let's just say lilac actually does look quite nice on me, but let's just say that lilac didn't work on me. Then doing what I've done here, which is just to throw it over a shirt, which actually is the color closest to my face. I think that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is to just stick to having that color in your bottoms, in the bottom part of your body, or saving it for accessories such as handbags and shoes. Because that's something else that we don't often talk about. You know, some colors just really look cool as accessories. If you are a pattern person, as long as the majority of the pattern works with your natural coloring, having a dash of that color in the pattern, that could be another way of tackling it. And now a word from today's video sponsor, Squarespace, my favorite all-inclusive platform for building a web space of your own. Whether it be a creative project, a new career path, you can use Squarespace to engage with your audience, showcase your content, and sell just about anything. Squarespace has some really exciting new features such as Design Intelligence. Design Intelligence can help you build a more beautiful, more personalized website. You can now also enable Squarespace payments to manage all of your payments in one place. You can get started in just a few clicks, and Squarespace also does give you the option to use popular payment methods such as Klarna, Apple Pay, Afterpay, and ClearPay. If you are looking to express yourself or change your direction in life, look no further than Squarespace. Squarespace is an excellent place to create the web space that you need, that functions for your specific niche, that can help you make your dream a reality. And no, you do not need to know any programming languages to make this happen. The Squarespace interface is extremely easy to use and it's very, very logical. If you would like to take advantage of 10% off your first purchase of a domain or website, please go to www.squarespace.com, start your free trial. When you're ready to launch, use this here link. A massive thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Another result of me getting a little too excited and buying too many things during a wardrobe transition period, well, it's why I'm trying a low buy year right now, which, I mean, honestly, it's not going that well. Most of my plans for the low buy year have not gone as I expected, but that's another story for another video. I ended up with too many things, basically. It's not that I want to keep my wardrobe really small these days. I really don't. But for me, there is a certain limit. I got to that limit very quickly. Now, I've realized rationally I'm not going to be able to add that amount of clothes that I have in the last few previous years. I'm not going to be able to add that number of clothes to my wardrobe every year without, honestly, two things. Either one, I end up with a gigantic wardrobe, which I do not want. It's not something that's attractive to me. And two, I don't want to declutter that many things either. Decluttering works to a certain point. Like, it works in the sense that your wardrobe may be chaotic, it may not work for you, and it's a good idea to get rid of things. It also works in a way where maybe once a year or once every season, you kind of reassess how you dress that particular season or that particular year, and you look at the things that you really, really did not touch, really didn't gravitate towards. But what doesn't work, in my opinion, is buying, 50 things every year, and then to make up for it, decluttering 50 things each year. Aside from the waste discussion, it diminishes the value of the things that you buy. It makes them more disposable. Honestly, I have been working on trying to increase the number of luxury pieces in my wardrobe so that they are more valuable to me. And obviously, I'm not going to be... Oh my god, my head, seriously. And obviously, I'm not going to be able to achieve that if I'm adding more than like 10 items to my wardrobe every year. I have another question here from you. This one's from Coastal Wife Life. I wonder how many pieces are in your wardrobe now, and do you put out of season clothes into a separate place? So the answer is I have around 100 things now, including clothing, shoes, and handbags. That number doesn't account for pajamas and leisure wear because, let's be real, we need those things. But yeah, they're not like really stylistic choices as such. They're more just things that I have because, well, I'm not gonna wear my fancy shirt around the house for my cat to cover itself in it. Cover. And while I do always talk about capsule wardrobes in the sense that maybe your wardrobe suits a particular narrow range of themes, colors, moods, styles, etc. No, I don't actually have a separate capsule for summer, winter. The reason I don't is because Australia, while right now it's really cold and wet, so it's our proper winter, it's not extreme. I don't need specialized boots. I don't need specialized, intense specialized clothing. Probably really we have like 3 seasonal types here in Western Australia. We have really, really hot in the summer and dry. And then we have really wet / cold. The time in between is kind of just like mild-ish. A lot of the pieces in my wardrobe are actually quite trans-seasonal. A lot of the pieces that I have that I'd maybe ordinarily wear in the winter months can be worn on cooler nights in the summer. So it is a situation where the climate dictates that. But the other thing I would say is I'm not convinced about the capsule idea in the sense of separating all your capsules and putting everything away for several months, because to me that's a bit of a risk in terms of what do I have, how do I know what I have, am I just going to end up buying things that I already have? I really think it's better to have all of your wardrobe in front of you at all times, organized in a way where you can access everything at all times, and that way you're always on top of what your wardrobe is, the reality of your wardrobe. Whereas I think if you start putting things away, you're risking forgetting what you have. I mean, also, honestly, something that I would be paranoid about is vermin getting into the things you store. In Australia, we have, little rodents that, I swear there's a little rodent in my kitchen right now. It nibbles on things in certain cupboards. Don't worry, not the food. I keep the food in a different cupboard. No one ever talks about this, but we have a problem with carpet beetle. I don't know how this never comes up. I have noticed over the last 5 to 6 years the plague of carpet beetle. Carpet beetle eats wool. So it's really, really easy if you get an infestation that you don't know about for carpet beetle to chew through your woolen pieces. And so I would never ever store away my precious wools, because I have a feeling that it would be possible if some carpet beetle got into that, that would be a tragedy. You know, you'd pull all your things out and everything would have holes in it, and it's a disaster. So I don't believe in putting away things seasonally. This outfit is a nice idea, but I'm not sure I would actually wear it in real life. Maybe the pants are too loose. Maybe different pants or different shoes. Let me know what you think. So when I have bought too many things, when I decide to make a wardrobe change, ironically this can actually result in wardrobe gaps. Because let's just say the season is summer, I go crazy, I buy everything that I need, that I think I need for summer, and then it gets to winter and suddenly I realize that there are wardrobe gaps. So this is definitely a result of overcommitting to a theme and going in one direction too hard. This is where the decluttering can come in. If you declutter a little too much because you've committed to a particular direction and you haven't thought ahead too much about that, and then it comes to that season and you're like, oh, okay. So I had a situation where I did not have adequate, presentable, appropriate winter boots for like at least 2 whole years because I overcommitted to a certain theme. I really tried to fill the gaps within my winter wardrobe, but it was just so impossible. So I've overcommitted to a theme and I've removed things from my wardrobe that don't suit the theme, but I have not calculated that I need certain types of things for that season. Sometimes there just aren't things that suit a new aesthetic in a particular season. They just aren't. Like, I just could not find the right types of boots that had the color that I was seeking and the right kind of mood that I was seeking. It just wasn't a thing that existed. So really what I should have done is taken a step back and said, oh, okay, I'm going to keep some of the things from this previous theme, so I don't end up in a weird situation where I have all these winter wardrobe gaps. And getting a coat at that time was also challenging. So yeah, I really ended up with wardrobe gaps because of this approach, which was quite frustrating and expensive in the end. So I've already given you one idea as a solution to this problem, which is simply to not overcommit to purchasing too many new things. But I would say another strategy to help with this is to think about your transition as more of a long-term process and think about the new pieces that you get as bridging items. So for example, if you look at your winter wardrobe and you know that there are some things in there that don't necessarily fit in with the new theme, instead of going off and sort of getting rid of everything that doesn't fit in with a new theme, hold on to the things that you're not so sure about, especially hold on to the things that are absolute seasonal essentials like boots or a coat. Then whenever you get new things, think of them as bridging items. So get maybe a pair of pants in the new style until you find the perfect coat, for example. And that way you're taking smaller steps which are far more practical, and this should stop quite a lot of the issues that I've already described thus far in this video. User SY2, okay, I'm not going to say that whole number. Thank you so much for your question. I've been doing a lot of intense hiking lately and need to invest in some good hiking clothes, but I'm struggling to find ways to still feel like myself when I dress for it. Okay, I will say, as an avid hiker and as someone who has done lots of hiking and has done some really sweaty and muddy hiking, I have mostly used my fitness clothes from other things. I just have a fitness wardrobe, right? I just have a few pairs of leggings and a few tops that are especially for fitness things. So where I use those things varies. It might be for walking, yoga, Pilates, but then also hiking. I understand that maybe you don't want to wear your Lululemon tights on a muddy trail because you're worried that things going to get damaged. I would basically, if you do feel like damage is something you're worried about, have a couple of things in there which feel nice, but maybe they didn't cost as much, like maybe you got them secondhand or really cheap somewhere. They are the kinds of things that are allowed to get messy. But aside from that, I would just develop a fitness capsule. And maybe it's just about having different types of shoes for those scenarios, like you probably need good hiking boots. Matching with your existing capsule the other accessories you need, like if you're going to be hiking a lot in questionable weather, like you probably need some sort of a water-resistant raincoat, water-resistant backpack. So making sure that those things work with your existing fitness capsule. But basically, I would recommend that for all areas of life, you create little capsules that really flatter you, that make you feel really good. Do that in all areas of life. The final question is from Sylvia. What's your take on clothes swap? Have you ever been to one in your area? I actually agree with Sylvia. If clothes swaps are something that are available to you in your area, that's like a common thing, definitely go to clothes swaps. What a great way to offload things that you know don't work for you and experiment with new things. That is a brilliant idea. It's a cost-free way of doing that. Congratulations to those of you who live in areas that have clothes swaps. This sounds really cool. Now, for me personally, clothes swaps aren't really a thing in Western Australia. I think I've probably heard about like 2 or 3 in my whole lifetime. and they haven't exactly been some big organizational thing where you're going to have hundreds and hundreds of pieces. If I have heard about such things, it's literally been with a small group of friends. So I've never actually properly participated in one. On top of that, I think the situation would be different for me now. As I said, it's probably a really great idea to try such things if you are experimenting, if you want to try new things, or if you are the kind of person who just likes to mix things up often. That's also a great way of doing that. If that is your natural disposition, is you want variety and you want to change your wardrobe around a lot, that's a great way of doing it. I'm not sure that clothes swaps would be quite right for me at this time in my life, because I am extremely, extremely picky. Like, anything that you have seen me wear has taken so long for me to select, and there's been so many factors that I've gone into. You know, does it fit me right? Is the color right? Is the fabric right? All of these things, which honestly I think would be quite limiting if there was a limited number of items to choose from. The only thing I could see myself benefiting from in that scenario is, I guess, maybe if I wanted to try new colors or new styles. But then I think, knowing how pedantic I am about the details and knowing how much I'm likely to just declutter things if they aren't quite right, if I don't use them enough, I would say that probably I would end up getting rid of quite a lot of the stuff I ended up picking up in the long term. Thank you so much for asking the questions today. Please keep them coming. I'll chat with you in the comments. And yeah, thank you for joining me on this wet, rainy day. Hopefully a different background hasn't put you off too much. I'll see you soon. Bye.